All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott, formerly of Rankin Technical College. And before I go into my shtick when I go through this stuff, I just want to mention one thing. If you have been watching these videos regularly, you'll notice that my last video was very short. It was about 25 to 30 minutes long. Plus, it seems like it got cut off in the middle. What I tried to do was to come up with a couple fixes that I'm going to explain to you. Neither one worked, and it went from bad to worse, so I just cut that stuff out. So I'm in my channel, JPS-Jeff Teaches Programming, and I'm in the playlist, Jeff Teaches Programming-Python. I've been going over all sorts of different things of the Python programming language, and what I've been spending most of my time on, at least in the last few lectures, has been databases. All right, and what I'm going to do is this right now. I want you to see this, and I want you to see what it is I'm going to do. All right, I'm going to come into here, and I wish I would have done this earlier, and I didn't. But I'm on my sales orders version 3. This is everything that I created. All right, I'm going to take it and copy it. I'm going to make a new folder, and I'm going to call this, so this is version 3. We'll call this first, and I'm going to make another one in here that I'm going to call second. And I'm going to grab everything that I had and copy it into both. In fact, we'll just copy it. Okay, so there's first, hopefully, with everything in it. There's second with everything in it, so there should be 3 files in a folder in each one. Folder and 3 files. Folder and 3 files. And in here, there should be all that. Good. And okay, I'm going to take what I have, and I'm going to make another folder that I'm just going to call original. And I'm going to copy it. I'm going to move everything that I did originally into the original folder, including my modules. And I'm doing that because I've been burnt enough times where I try to fix something up and I make it worse instead of better. So I'm going to move that out here. So this is first. This is the one I've been working on. All right. I'm not going to run through this again. It should work, but actually the only thing that I should do in here, let's open this with code. I did add and then removed a bunch of stuff from the categories. So let's bring up our main.py and let's bring up our categories crud.py. Let's make sure I didn't break anything. So this is my main.py. I'm going to go over to number 1. Let's select an operation. There's my stuff. All right. And I'm going to try to create a new category. New cat. Do a number 2. You can see it's in there. Do a number 3. Update it. So that'll be 7. Yeah, now see, I did screw it up. No such column. New category description. Okay, we'll fix it right now. Yeah, that should just be category description. This is one of the changes I tried to make that I just screwed up with, or screwed up on. So here's the update. New category description. Set category description equal to, that should be a question mark. Like I said, I tried doing a whole bunch of stuff in here, and some worked. Some of it didn't, and rather than combining stuff, I'm going to show you what I did in just a moment. Try running this again. Again, we use number 1 because categories is the only one I touched. 2, I do have the new category in there, so that one worked. Let's do a 3, and let's try to do an update. So this would be 7. Enter category or record to update, and it says that it was updated. Well, that isn't right. So file, let's do a save on this, move this. Okay. Enter category ID of record to update. Okay, then we should have said enter category description of record to update. So that is update category. We put in a new description. All right. All I'm trying to do is make sure I didn't break anything. All right, try it again. Save that, and let's save that and run it again. All right. Now 1, 2, in fact, let's create again. New category. Okay. 2, we now have new category in there. Okay, there it is. Can we do a 3 to update? No. You cannot update, so enter category or record to update. I put in an 8 and it immediately says category updated. So it is skipping everything. Son of a biscuit. Set category description equal to, should be new category description. That is correct. And this should be category ID. And then it should say category updated. It is for some reason skipping this. And this. So it is going right from here, where it says enter category ID, to here. Category updated. Now I have to figure out why. It's okay. Should be of record, not or record. Of record to update. Okay. I'm just going to say enter updated category description. Like that. That looks much better. And that is new category description, which is right there. So we should update categories. Set category description equal to question mark, which is going to be here, where category ID equals question mark, and that should be here. Now, why it is not stopping for that right now, I don't know. This is very weird. One, 2. Now look at this. Enter category. Crud. Okay, let's see if I can remove 7 and 8. All right, now let's do a 2 again to read. All right. That's good. It's back to the way it should have been at the beginning. Now let's see what is so goofed up here. Category description equals input, enter category description. So it should be doing the input. It should be showing me this, stopping and letting me enter it, and then it should go into here. That's creating. We don't need this. It's one of the things I was playing with before. Okay, that looks good. That I know is working. It's this right here. ID equals input, enter. Category ID of record to update. New is enter updated category description. This new one is here. This ID is here. Category. Good golly. Save all. Oh, new category description. I didn't do an input here. Hello. All right, let's try that again. So we're here, and we're running it. We're going to put a 1 in there. And right now, if I put in a 2, I have these 6 things in there. That's exactly what I want. I want to create a new one. So 1, new description. We'll just call this new cat. And it says it was created, so let's do a 2 again. There's new cat. I want to do a 3 to update it. So 7. And I want to call this new, instead of new cat, we'll call it new cat category. It says it was updated. Let's look. There it is, this new category. All right. Finally, we'll do a 4. And for the category ID of the record to update, this is going to, again, it's going to be 7. And it says it was deleted. Let's double check. So 2, and now it's back to the way it was. So 5 and 9. All right, so now after that, after all that, everything's working. All right, so let me get rid of all this. Let me get rid of everything that I've got here. And just to be certain here, this was in first. So I'm going to remove everything that I had here in second. I'm going to take everything I had in first, which was just updated. Copy. Paste here. Plus where I have original here. Get rid of that, and let's paste into original. There you go. Of course, all I put in there was modules. There we go, original. All right, so now I can open up second. If I were to run it right now, which I'm not going to do, I'm not going to do that, but if I were to run it right now, it would run exactly the same as the other one. But this is what I want to do. All right. I want to write one generic update method. All right. If I get that to work, I should also be able to write one generic read method and one generic delete method. But for now, I'm only concerned with the update. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in here and under my modules, all right, in there, I'm going to add a new file. And I'm going to call this generic. Stupid name, but it's the one I'm going to use. And where did I put it? Oh, there it is. Okay, let me get rid of that. I should have made it into a folder. So delete that. Yes. So in here, I'm going to create a new folder called generic. I'm going to call it generic CRUD. Okay, so there it is. All right, and inside of generic CRUD, I'm going to create different files. The first one I'm going to create in here is going to be called update record.py. We're going to write that in just a moment. Okay, now I'm going to put down in here just a boatload of notes because I want you to understand what's going on in here. All right, so these are going to be some notes. All right. Now, a couple things about this. A few things about this. Number one, the update record function must be able to handle having a primary key of one field or a primary key of multiple fields. What the heck am I talking about? If you go back and you look in here, here's categories. There's one field for the primary key. Customers, one field for the primary key. Employees, one field for the primary key. Vendors, one field for the primary key. Those four tables. Products, one field for the primary key. That's 5. Orders, one field for the primary key. That's 6. But the other 2 are the different ones. Products and order details. Products has a concatenated primary key. Order details has a concatenated primary key. So I want to be able to write a generic update record routine that will handle it because I'm going to pass in the primary key or primary keys. So that's that one. Number 2. The user should be able to either A, enter in a new value for the field in question. Let's put this on its own line here. I like that better. All right. Or hit the enter key to keep the current database value in the database without changing it. So in case A here, I am going to change it. And in case B here, I'm not going to change it. Now, who cares? Why am I even doing this? What am I getting out of this? Maybe you've already figured it out. But writing a generic function like this will eliminate the need for writing separate update functions for each of the 8 different tables in the sales orders database. All right, so that's what this is buying me. So how are we going to do this? How to do this? Again, we'll have several steps in here, really about 5 steps. So step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and step 5. Now, of course, I'm going to put stuff in here. I just wanted to set that up. So first, I have to identify the table to be updated and its primary key or primary keys. So the update record function must take in both the table name and the primary key or keys as parameters. That's the first thing. We'll talk about how to do that in just a minute. Second, we have to grab, well, we already know there's a fetch command, so we have to fetch the current record. So before possibly updating this record, we need to fetch it so we have the current value. Okay, we might keep that current value, we might not keep that current value. Next, we want to dynamically update the record. So we want to allow the user to update all fields they wish to update. So, for example, let's say that we choose a big one here. How about the vendors? You can't change the ID because it's the primary key, but you should be able to change vendor name and or vendor street address and or vendor city and or vendor state and or vendor zip code and or vendor phone number and or vendor fax number and or vendor web page and or vendor email address. Now, hopefully that made sense. All right. So again, I've already said this, but just to repeat this, we must support both a single primary key and a concatenated primary key. All right. Finally, we are going to build the update statement dynamically. And again, this will be based on the table name, the primary key or keys, and the field or fields to be updated. All right, now this can be done in different ways. I want to say this again. This can be done in different ways. All right, this is the way I decided to do it after coming up with some really rotten attempts. I believe this one is going to work. When I ran some simple tests, it appeared to work. All right, so we've got all that. So let's define this function. This will be called update record. All right, and to be honest with you, let's see. Let's go back here. Let me save this. And for now, I'm just going to put in this with a pass. All right. Why am I doing that? Let me show you. I'm going to close this. I'm going to come back over here, and under my generic, where I just did this, all right, I'm going to change this to generic I don't like generic with generic. We're going to call this what it is, which is CRUD functions. Okay? All right, so that's the name. And the reason I'm telling you that is eventually I want to be able to put in here update record. I don't think I can make one for insert record, but I want a delete record and I want a read record if I can do those. So let's start writing this. I have written this one. I have not written those other two. I'll have to do that later. So update record is going to need the cursor. It'll need the name of the table that I want to update. It'll need the primary key or keys. Let's call it keys. And it'll need the update field or fields. So that's what it needs. All right. And we've already went through the steps up here. All right. So we've got the update record must be able to handle the primary, etc., etc. We've got all this. So let's start writing this. All right. So the first thing that we want to do here is we're going to fetch the current record. All right. So that's the first thing we want to do. Why are we doing this? We're doing this to allow the user to keep any current record field values they want. They want to. Okay? All right. So we're going to come in here and we're going to make a generic clause in here. It's going to be called, it's going to be a where clause. So I'm going to call it what it is. It's going to be a where clause. And it's going to be equal to and let me put the whole thing in here and then let me go over what it means with you. This is going to allow me that where clause. If I've got multiple primary keys, it's going to allow me to join them together. All right. Let's line these up. You don't have to, of course, but I'm going to anyway. I'm going to add to the end of this, okay, we of course need the double quote there, which I didn't put in. So double quote there, and record to update. I haven't got that, but I need that. Okay. All right. Now, what's wrong here? Why isn't this working? Well, input, that's all fine. Input, F string, that should not be there. All right. Enter key of record to update. Dum, dum. And I'm going to say here, for key, whoops, learn to spell, for key in primary keys. Again, this is going to allow me to add as many primary keys as necessary if indeed I have a concatenated primary key. All right. All right, next, I want to fetch the current value for all fields. All right, so now I've gotten the primary key, but I want to be able to grab all of the values for that particular key. All right. Let's see. All right. And I'm going to put this in, but I'm going to put it in as a doc string so you can read everything. This is kind of tough right here to read because we have to scale over there to see it. So for here, we're going to say cursor dot execute, okay, and we'll use an F string in here, and I'm going to say select oops. Let's make this a true doc string. Oops. And it'll be funky for a minute, but we'll fix it. Okay. So select this. From our table name, where that where clause we put in up above, and that's going to be it for this. We need to close that. Somehow I lost that. There we go. And this is going to hold in here the primary key values. Now, let me write one more line, and we're going to go back over this whole thing. Current record equals cursor dot fetch 1. All right. Now, what this is doing in English, this is going to say, this is going to select all the fields that are in this table based on the primary key. And then we're just going to throw the results into something called current record. Now, if the current record is empty, that should never happen. Print error message and return. Let's put this over 2 lines. So if not current record, will print F string again. No record found with the primary key or keys given in table name. I'm trying to be specific here. So for instance, let's say that I was in the categories table, all right, and I put a primary key in there that didn't exist. We have 6 categories. What if I put in 71? There's nothing to find because there is no category 71. So it should say no record found with primary keys with given primary keys, or with the primary keys given in table categories. All right, then I'm just going to return because there's no sense in going on. All right, we're grabbing an error condition. All right, so next, we want to let the user update a field or fields, or keep the current database value if the enter key is pressed instead. Okay? Now, we don't know how many things we're going to have. These are going to be our updated values. So I'm going to say updated values equal, and I'm going to put an empty dictionary in there. All right, now I'm going to say for I field in enumerate update fields All right, so in this for loop, what do I want to do? Okay, I want to say new value equals input, enter updated field. All right, so that'll be whatever field I'm currently working on, or press enter to keep current record And that's just going to be the field name, hopefully, if we did it right. Record I. Switch that back. All right. And I'm going to say updated values dot append because I'm building this thing now. New value if the new value is not empty, so new value not equal to nothing, else current record I. In English, what we're saying right there is what you should do is you should come in there. I'm not sure why I'm getting the error here, but we'll go look at it in just a minute. It says it wasn't closed. I think that belongs here. And then this does not belong there. I'm going to get rid of this. When I first did it, I didn't even put that there like that. There we go. All right. So what we're doing is we're telling it to enumerate or basically go over all the fields that we have. All right. And you can either enter an updated field or you can press enter to keep what's there. If what we put there isn't empty, it becomes, we append that new value to the value. Otherwise, we grab the current value so we don't change anything. All right? Hopefully, at least, that made, at least as they say, a modicum of sense. All right. Next. Don't want to go that far. I don't know why it's doing that, but it is. All right, next. We want to build our SQL statement dynamically. All right. How are we going to do that? All right, in English, okay, as it says, we're building our statement. Why am I telling you this? We have a table name. We'll have a set clause, which you need in an update, and we'll have a where clause. All right, so next we want to actually execute the update statement. All right, so we're going to say cursor dot execute, and let's put it in again as a doc string. Why? Because I think those are easier for us to read if it's over multiple lines. So we're going to say update. And what do we want to update? The table name. Well, that's exactly what we want to update. Set our set clause where our where clause, okay, and that's it for that, but we need to fill in that stuff. Oops, try that again. All right, and we need our updated values plus our primary key values. Finally, we want to print the update message. So we should now be able to say print, again, F string, table name, record, like that, record updated. Okay, now what doesn't it like here? There we go. So let's take this from the top. All right, boy, I got a lot of these open, so let's close them. All right, so taking this from the top, we are attempting to come in here and write a generic update record function. So the generic update record function must handle having a primary key of one field or a primary key of multiple fields. In other words, what's referred to as a concatenated primary key. Second, you should be able to go in and run this and either enter a new value for the field in the record or hit the enter key to keep the current value in there. The advantage of this is we're going to put in here, why are we doing this anyway? And again, writing a generic function such as this will mean we're writing one function to handle all updates as opposed to 8 different functions, one for each table. The way we're going to do this, we're going to identify the table to be updated, which is table name, and its primary keys, which we called, so we've got in here table name and primary keys. All right, so as it says, the update record must take in both the table name and the primary keys as parameters. Okay. Next, we want to fetch the current record. As it says, before we can do any kind of updating, we need to fetch it so we have the current values. All right. Next, we want to give the user the ability to dynamically update the record. So they can update any one field to all of the fields. Technically, you probably could go in and hit enter every time and not update anything. That would be stupid, but I think that'll work. We'll even try that to see if it does. I didn't try that before. As mentioned previously, this must support both a single primary key and a concatenated primary key. All right. Finally, we will build the update statement dynamically. As it says, this is based on the table name, the primary keys, key or keys, and the field or fields to be updated. Now, when you look in here, you'll notice that we've got cursor, then we've got table name, then we've got primary keys, then we've got update fields. Cursor is just that. It's the cursor we've been passing all over the place. Table name is the table we want to update. Primary keys are the one or more primary keys for that table, and I've already shown you those. Update fields means when we call this, we are going to have to pass in the name of each one of the fields that are possible for us to update. Now, are there other ways to do this? The answer is yes. And when I first did it, I did it a different way, but it would involve explaining a lot of stuff that we haven't talked about yet. So I went back and redid it this way. So, as it says right here, we want to fetch the current record to allow the user to keep any current record field values they want to. All right. Of course, or hit, so they can keep any current fields, or enter in new values for any field desired. And that's what we're doing in here. It's kind of ugly, but it's the where clause that we're going to put in here. All right, and it could be ugly as hell because we could be joining 9 different fields if it's, something like employee, or 8 different fields. These are the primary key values. So again, we might have one key in here. We might have multiple keys. All right. Then, as it says, we're going to come in and fetch the current value for all fields. That's what this is doing. This is not doing the update. This is just grabbing what's in there now. This can be as simple as for the categories table, just a category description, or something is complex. So again, for the categories table, it could be just this. But for customers, once we give it an ID, which is our primary key, it will be all of these. And employees is pretty much the same as customers, except it's the employee info. Vendor is very similar. Product has got all these then. Product vendors is just going to have in these. Orders will have in this. And order details will have in this. All right, we've already talked about that, so I really don't want to go over that again. So we're setting up to fetch the current value for all fields of the current record. Okay? And then we put all those values into something we call current record. Well, this should never happen. So this should never happen. But if the current record is empty, print an error message and return, because there's nothing else to do. So if it's empty, we're just going to say no record found with the primary keys given, and we're going to return. If we get down to here, we put in something valid. All right? So, as it says right there, what we're going to do now is we're going to enumerate or iterate, work our way through this. So this is basically grabbing each field one at a time, and it's telling us to enter an updated field value or press enter to keep the current value. All right, if we put in something, so if it's not empty, we're going to take new value and append that into updated values. If we didn't enter anything, meaning we hit the enter key, we're going to take the current value and put it into update values. All right, now we're building our SQL update statement dynamically. This I want to make sure I'm commenting enough that you can understand what's going on. All right. So this is the set clause. This is basically going to set every field to either its current value or its updated value. And that's what we're doing when we execute the update statement. Finally, we print that that record was updated. Okay? That's it. Now, File, Save All. How is this going to now work? All right, so this is called CRUD functions.py. All right, one thing I want to do is in here in main, we had this stuff at the top. All right, I'm actually adding stuff to this now, but that's okay. All right, one thing we should do in this CRUD functions, because this is a generic CRUD, let's add a new file, just like the other ones. We'll put in an empty __ init __ .py file. All right, we're not going to do anything with that file. All right, so we've got all this stuff in there after categories, etc. Okay, I'm going to add this to the bottom here. So product vendors. This isn't alphabetized anymore, but I think it makes more sense to do it like this. Bring that in like this. Bring in both these. In fact, let's just copy this whole flaming thing in here. All right. And that will be, instead of, I shouldn't have done it like that. I need this too. All right. So this is generic CRUD. All right. And it's going to have in it, amongst other things, it's going to have in it CRUD functions. Okay, I think I've done that right. All right, now we're importing everything. And I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do this. I have only done a small amount of testing on this. You've been warned. All right, so let's start by going, let's just try categories, because that's the easy one. Let's put this in there and see if I get an error. All right, I'm going to say from modules dot generic CRUD dot CRUD functions. Good, I got rid of my errors. Import, and we want to import, what did we put in there? That was called update record, right? Yep, update record. So for now, at least, that's all that we're going to have in there. There. All right. Now, why am I showing you that? Because now, ideally, what we're going to be able to do in here is we can now grab this function, this update category. I'm going to comment the whole flaming thing out. All right, it's all been commented out. There's a problem with the way this is lined up. Oh, okay. All right. So now I should be able to replace this. All right. So now when I have my def update category cursor, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to call update record. I'm going to pass into it my cursor, the name the name of my table, which is categories, the primary key, and remember there could be more than one, so we're putting it in brackets here, and this will be category ID, oops, and then we also need to put in here, so let's put these all on a different line, so we'll do it just like I've got it. So the other thing I'm going to need in here is the name of the record field, and that is category description, like that. So I've now replaced this function call, which is not real big, but 36 to 52, about 15 lines with 3 lines. But I'm going to be able to call this thing, if it works, from everything I'm working on. So let's see if it does work. If it doesn't, I'm going to be very upset and probably do a lot of jumping up and down where you won't see it. So File, Save All. Let's go back to main and let's run this. Oh, wait a minute. All right. I think, let's see. It did not give me an error here when I said update record. So I'm hoping it recognizes that from here. We'll find out right now. So File, Save, File, Save, File, Save. Let's go back and run it and see what we get. Well, that's a good start. So let's go in. Let's go number 1. That's categories. And let's do a number 1. Let's add a new category. So the description will be, this is a brand new category. All right, it says it was created. Let's verify that it was created. There it is. So let's attempt to update and see if we get an error or if it works. Enter category ID of record to update. That would be 7. Enter updated field or press enter to keep current record I. That's not what it's supposed to say, but that's okay. So we're going to put in, I don't think I made that an F string. That's probably why it looks the way it does. We're going to put in here updated category. It says that it was updated. Let's see if it made the update. Hot dog. All right, let's go back and look at one thing in here. As I just mentioned, when we did this, don't know why it's showing it that many times. Maybe I pressed, but I don't think I pressed anything. All right. Let's just do a 5 here and a 9 to exit. All right. Again, I don't know why I'm getting all these repeats in here, but I did. All right. So 3, 7. All right, where it says enter updated field or press, that would be in CRUD functions. Right there. That should be an F string. All right, so let's try this one more time. Save all. All right, let's go back and let's run this again. This is pretty damn slick right now. All right, so we're going to run this. We're going to first let's check. I don't think we have that one anymore, but we'll check. Oh, I didn't want 2. I want okay, let's try this again. 1. All right, let's do a 2 to read what we've got. We've got that updated category. All right, so let's go to 7. Select an operation we want to update, so that's 3. Enter the category ID of the record we want, so that's 7. So enter updated category value or press enter to keep updated category. So I'm going to put in here brand new update. It says that it was updated. So let's see if it worked. 2, brand new updated. So it is working. All right. And before you say this is cool, this is not cool, who cares, whatever, let's put the other ones in. So I'm going to go to 5 here. And I'm going to go to 9 here to exit. All right. Let's clear. And I'm going to take a little chance here, and I'm going to change all of them right now. So one thing I'll want to do is in each one of these, I will want to add this. Like that. So we'll put that at the top of each one. Copy. Save. All right, the second one will be pretty big because it is a big one. So we've now got categories. Categories CRUD is done. No, I'm sorry. CRUD, well, let's see. CRUD functions. We might need to look at that in just a minute. So let's go to customers. Customers CRUD. All right. We're going to want to add this. All right. We can again come in here now, grab this update. Let's try it like this. Now again, since every time in here where I've used the triples, I got to change them to, or double quotes, I got to change them back to single quotes. All right. Now we will replace this. This will now be def update customer. and we will use the other one as kind of a template for us. So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to have to make massive changes, but don't worry about that. That's okay. All right. So this will be def update customer. So this will be the customers table, and it will be customer ID. And the fields that are in here are not category description, but they're going to be all of these. Customer first name, last name, address, city, state. So customer first name, customer last name, customer city, customer state, customer zip code. All right, what else do we have? I got first name, last name, address, city, state, zip, area code, and phone number. Customer area code, customer phone number. That should be it. So let's try and see if we can now do an update on customers. Well, it's giving me a bunch of errors here. Okay, this was the one we had in here, update customer. And for some reason, okay, so that's done. Why are you doing this? That should do it. Now we've got our new update record in here. Good. All right, let's see if this one works. Again, file, save all. Go back to main, close this, run the program again. All right, let's go to 2 for customers. Let's look at what we've got. Let's add a new customer. So 1, I'll put myself in there. All right, says the customer was created. Let's verify it. There I am. But there's several mistakes in here. I want that to be RD. I spelled Wentzville wrong, and that's the wrong zip code. So we're going to see if we can change those. So let's do a 3 for update. The ID will be 28. And of course, it's giving us an error. No such column. Customer last name. Customer. Well, it's concatenating those together. line 57 in update record. I think I may know what this is, but we'll see. Not what I thought the problem was. Thought it might need a space here. Let's try that. We're going to put in a space here. See if that fixes it. It may not. All right, so we're on number 2. I think we should still have me in there. There I am. So 3. And I'll be 28. See if I get an error again. I still do. Not such column. Customer last name. Well, you can see it's taking the last name and it is grabbing customer city and it's setting it equal to it. Telling me it's an operational error. This is what we're going to handle next, and that is to add error handling to this. So it's line 57 in our update record according to this. So it's in here. So it's in that select statement. See, I would have thought this would have handled it right here. It's got each field in it. Ooh, no, I didn't make that up there. Thought maybe it's because I didn't make it a doc string, but I do have it as a doc string. I'm not sure why it's concatenating those two together. It's supposed to have a field followed by a space. I'm not sure what the problem is. So it worked fine when we only had one field, but now that we have multiple fields, it is not. What I am going to do, we're already at 1 hour and 20 minutes, so I'm going to stop here, see if I can fix it, and come back with that next. Thanks.